Hey, good afternoon. Here in the Fox 6 Storm Warning Center, Chief Meteorologist J.P. Dice, along with Wes Wyatt. We're talking about Halloween forecast. The computers have been blowing up over here. People emailing, wanted to know, when's that rain coming in and how bad's it going to be?
You know, it's been a trick all along. I mean,
trick on us.
Yeah, exactly. The medium range models. The Canadian's been saying Friday morning, then the GFS was saying Thursday night. That's the global forecast system, one of our primary models. Now, all that data is starting to converge, and it looks like coming more in line with what we've been saying Thursday night, probably around that 5 or 6 o'clock time frame.
You may have seen online this morning some updated time frames about this possibly rolling in a little earlier. I think the models were flopping on us, and that was a little bit of that trick. I do not think this is going to be one of those situations that rolls in real early in the day, with one exception. Marion County and Lamar County, I think storms will roll in there probably a little earlier than everywhere else.
Yeah, and especially if we get something like a bow echo developing a lot of times, and I know we're going to break down the severe weather threat here, but you know, if you get a strong thunderstorm off, then that can kind of race ahead of the main bulk of the rainfall, so that could be one of those situations where it might try to push in a little earlier there in Marion County.
And this is 2 o'clock. This is our RPM model. This is what we use here in the office off our WSI system. And we're going to look at several different scenarios. We've got a number of models that we will bring into this. Some of these proprietary models that you won't find on the internet and various places where the TV station actually buys to share with you on TV and online. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can see Marion County already seeing some of that rain. 5 p.m., we've got rain. We've got thunderstorms moving into portions of Pickens County, Lamar, and Fayette counties. And then by 8, 9 o'clock, that bullseye back through Sumter County and even Tuscaloosa County looking fairly wet. So my advice to anyone in West Alabama, do the trick-or-treating as early as you can, because that rain's going to hit you. Also, wind is another threat. Even before the rain rolls in, it's going to be very gusty.
It is, and the wind's already picking up out there. These are just gradient winds out ahead of this, that strong southerly flow. And you know, that's been the big question, is just how that southerly flow is going to contribute to this. Are we going to have enough low-level instability for a major severe weather outbreak? We don't think that's going to be a factor, but there will be some of that wind shear. And JP, you really talked about this last night. This is one of those high shear, low cape environments where we'll probably see some strong straight-line winds as the main threat, but I think the veering or the changing of wind direction with heights is going to be a bigger factor back across North Mississippi.
Yeah, and I think Mississippi, Arkansas, West Tennessee will probably see some severe weather. That part of the country is actually in a slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center, and that could actually increase that threat to the west and to the north of us. This snapshot here, 11:30 tomorrow night, well after, at least I hope, most of the trick-or-treaters are finished. They're counting the candy. They hopefully brush the teeth by then. We have lots of rain across the area, and then by 5 a.m., still lingering showers and thunderstorms in East Alabama. Pell City, Gadsden, Anniston, Sylacauga, Talladega. The weather's probably going to be okay for the trick-or-treaters. It's going to hold off for a while.
Yeah, early evening, you're in great shape, and maybe even Birmingham there. But the big question is that northwest corner right there, and could be a little rocky tomorrow afternoon. A little windy out ahead of that, but once the system moves through here, it really looks great beyond that point into the weekend.
Friday, and then clearing skies for the weekend. We're switching over to our other system here, and Wes is going to kind of roll through our Viper model, and it's maybe an hour off from the RPM, but look at that, 6:30, 6:45 tomorrow evening. There's that bullseye again of the heavy rain and thunderstorms through Hamilton there in Marion County, and also Sulligent, Vernon in Lamar County. That's going to be the worst place for any kind of trick-or-treating or outdoor events.
Yeah, most certainly. And you can see the models picking up on some of that intense convection right there across Marion, northern Lamar. So basically that Highway 17 corridor all the way over to Haleyville between about 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. That's going to be I guess you could say, the bullseye for where we could see some strong storms if we see anything here across our area. Notice how it weakens. Those dynamics pull away, so we see this mainly turn into a rain event, kind of a nuisance. Weather set up through early Friday morning, but that northwest part of the state, seems to, and it's been kind of consistent here past couple of days.
And I think you'll probably, in many areas east of Interstate 65, even Friday morning, driving to work or school, you are going to run into some rain and kind of some yucky weather still sticking around. You know what I did today? I went out back. We've got a patio out there, and I've got an umbrella. Went ahead and let that thing down, because with those 35, 40 mile per hour gradient winds ahead of the system,
Yeah.
That's going to end up in somebody else's yard. And I saw a bunch of people with the inflatable pumpkins and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. And my neighbor's got those all in the yard. I was filling in for you the other night, and I got home and I heard some screaming going on, which scared me. And my neighbor's got the little decorations in their yard, and make sure all those. If you might want to just go ahead and bring some of that stuff in. I know
it needs to be
Halloween's over.
tied down real well. Severe
Exactly.
weather risk tomorrow. Tornadoes, low end threat. Hail, low end. Even flooding. I don't see an issue. Damaging winds west of Interstate 65, and the closer you are to the Alabama-Mississippi state line, that's going to be the greater risk for damaging winds, and kind of twofold for damaging winds. Also thunderstorm related, but also that gradient wind. You can, 40 mile per hour wind gusts can knock a tree branch down.
Tropical storm force.
Yeah. So here's our time frame, and this is pretty much identical to yesterday, maybe an hour or two different. 4 to 8 p.m., the western portion of the state. I would say, if I'm just trying to nail this thing down, 6 o'clock tomorrow night for West Alabama, about 8 p.m. for the I-65 corridor, and more toward 10, 11 o'clock for East Alabama. That's the breakdown. This could be off an hour or so, but this is generally what we're thinking, with weakening storms as everything kind of moves off toward the east. This is our hourly forecast for tomorrow. The morning is going to be cloudy and dry by noon, 71 degrees. During the afternoon, the model starts to bring in that rain, maybe as early as 4 p.m. Want to remind everybody, if you don't already have it, maybe you might be watching this update on one of our weather apps, but if you don't have the app, go ahead and get it. You can get it iTunes, or I should say the App Store, or the marketplace there for the Droid or Android devices. So,
yeah, I was just looking at the weather app here on my iPad, but some people look at the models and check out the models online, and I'll go ahead and caution you. And you and I talked about this. These models, they speed up, they slow down. But, the biggest thing is to see that general trend, that consistent pattern. And with a lot of our products that we have, the Viper model and things,
Yeah.
it still looks like around 6 o'clock for Northwest areas.
Yeah, so we invite you to check back on here as frequently as possible. Of course, on television too, 5:36, 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to be hitting it hard. All the information you need to help plan for any kind of fall festivals, Halloween, trick-or-treating type events, because we know with all this yucky weather rolling through, it's going to be a little problematic out there, especially the western sections of the state. Eastern sections, not quite as bad. Wouldn't worry with it aside from the gusty winds. We'll keep you updated right here online and on air.
And we won't dress up. Don't have to worry about
We're
that.
already in our costume,
There you go.
guys. We'll see you later.